No, seriously, are you guys really that surprised that AZUMARILL is going to be made a video of? Well, yeah, it's just really freaking good. Like, if you thought this thing was your worst nightmare during Great League, guess what? In Halloween Cup, it's here to stay, and it's really freaking good. I've gotten a lot of opinions from like other players in like Twitch chats, and they're like, "Can you at least ban Azu, please?" And I hopefully agree, because Azu is really It's not well. It's really strong, and in a condensed meta cup, it's really strong. This is very similar to Twilight Cup if you do Sylph, like as far as Halloween Cup. So like you got yeah, if you thought you hated this thing, guess what? You're gonna see it for an entire week. It's gonna be everywhere. Now here's my justification of why you should use Ice Beam and Play Rough. Anyways, here's Azu's stats. You lose against Electric, Grass, and Poison. Guess what's in this cup? Grass and Poison. You're gonna see a lot of especially Poison. Now, I'm about to show you a chart that's just going to show you what Azu beats with Ice Beam and Play Rough and what it beats with Hydro Pump, etc. We're going to do a matrix on that. And just basically that you're going to see Grass and Poison, and you're going to see there's still like things like Galvantula, so you're still going to see electric types. In other words, you absolutely resist Dragon. So Dragon, you resist it by it's heavily resisted. So Azu is a great Dragon counter. Which there's actually going to be some dragons, because, you know, there's something called Zweilous and a Spice Pick that I'm not going to name, but it's Zweilous' big brother, and it has 3 heads instead of 2, but yeah, you will see dragons in the Halloween Cup. Zweilous is going to be a very powerful pick. But as you see, its ultimate Antichrist is, in fact, the bunny. The golden bunny, the regular blue bunny, the bunny that you probably have built because for a very long time this thing has been relevant since season 1 and actually since the preseason this thing's been absolutely freaking amazing. And it just covers so many types. Bug, dark, fighting, fire, ice, and water. You know what you cover, you know what's running around a lot in the Halloween Cup? Bug and dark types. So it's definitely an incredible weapon against anything. Well, it's been I'm done hyping it up. This thing is freaking overpowered. Okay, you don't need to know. This thing is this thing is one of the top 3 mons for like months, if not since PvP came out. Period. This thing has been incredibly powerful in Great League, and you know how Halloween Cup is? It's in Great League, so you very likely have one. It's kind of expensive, but there's plenty of opportunities for you to get a really good AZUMARILL. There have been many events. There have been many opportunities for you to get a really good Azu for Great League. And if you notice, a level 41 actually caps out 1588. So there's still like a perfect Azu still has play just because it levels up so high. Like I said, it maxes out at 1588. That means it's very high leveled, and that means it's very close to its 225 stamina, which means it's stupid strong. Very, very powerful. Azu is thick in many ways, and also its shiny is a bunny. But as this comment says, it's one of the most it says even here in PvP it's a 5 out of 5. It's one of the most popular Pokemon in Great League, and it counters a lot of the meta. And in Halloween Cup, especially because it is able to cover, it has such a versatile moveset that yeah, it's good. Okay, it's good. Do I feel like I'm talking to a dead record. I mean, the best. Yeah, it's really freaking good. That's all I have to tell you. It's really good. You should think about using it. Especially the Play Rough friend. I'll tell you why. All right, so I did the matrix for you guys ahead of time. So here's the matrix. Now, don't ever use this. Don't do this. Please don't do this. Just don't use Rock Smash, okay? Just for comedic purposes only. I shall add AZUMARILL with Rock Smash on here, and you will lose a lot of things. So this is just for don't use it, and I'm gonna show you why. But here is the matrix. I put the matrix battle. peeppoke.com, greatest website in the world. If you haven't considered donating, please do if you can. Great website. Amazing, and I can do what I do because of this website. So anyways, here we go. We're gonna get started. So this is the 2 shield. I'm gonna start with 2 shield first, and we're gonna kick battle. And then here's the sim. Now, remember what I said? Don't use the one at the bottom. You lose against like practically everything. The only one practically everything. You do beat Obstagoon. Just because it's Rock Smash, okay? Like, you know, you gotta beat some things, but don't use Rock Smash. Don't use Rock Smash. So the real analysis here is player of Hydro Pump and player of Ice Beam. As you see, both of these, there's no real wrong answer for player of Hydro Pump or player of Ice Beam. In my opinion, either one works. It just depends on what your team comp really like covers and what you want to use it for. So if you look on the 2 shield, you know, let me just do this. We're gonna remove this, but anyways, yeah, just don't use Rock Smash. Okay, just don't do it. Just don't, please don't. So we have player of Hydro Pump and player of Ice Beam. These are the 2 contenders here. Ice Beam Hydro Pump is really strong. It is the recommended moveset. However, you don't really need it. That's the issue. You just kind of don't need it. So if you see the player of Hydro Pump versus Ice Beam player of variant, as you see, you beat. The most important thing is you'll see as you beat the mirror, but if you look at the bottom, some notable matchups that player of Hydro Pump doesn't. You don't beat Frostus. You beat Frostus with Ice Beam Play Rough. Because you just Ice Beam it to death. Or I think you Ice Beam like bait and then Play Rough. Yep. Yep, Ice Beam. Or no, you just straight Ice Beam. So you beat Frostus just straight Ice Beam. So straight Ice Beam beats Frostless in the 2 shield. So as long as you have Play Rough, you're fine. You'll like Play Rough doesn't actually take out Frostless, so just keep that in mind. I think you get you get Shadow Ball to death. That's basically it. You don't beat Galvantula with either variant, but you need Ice Beam to beat Golbat. So if you see more Golbats starting to be a lot more popular, Ice Beam is your friend. And you'll see why Ice Beam is really valuable with Play Rough in a second. But as you see, you beat most of everything. You beat Alola Marowak, Mawile. Alola Marowak is going to be pretty popular, but as you see with either variation, either with Blood, like Ice Beam Play Rough, Ice Beam Hydro, like you still beat it, okay? You'll still beat it. Don't worry about it. You'll beat Marowak, you'll beat Mawile, you'll beat Amok, and you beat Umbreon. Now, the interesting thing is about Ice Beam and Play Rough, you don't beat Wormadam Trash. But here's the thing. You open the new window, here's what happens. Wormadam Trash barely wins. It's like this close. So even if you technically do lose, but literally as long as you hit it once with like almost everything except like a lock-on, you'll kill it. So don't worry about this matchup too much. As long as you do a little bit of damage, like I said, to Wormadam Trash, you will beat it just going straight like Ice Beam, Play Rough. So some of these matchups are way closer than it looks. So and of course you beat Wireless with all variations, just because Ice Beam and Play Rough absolutely destroys Dragon, especially Play Rough destroys like you'll see just how fast it gets heated. But that's a 2 shield. So like I said, like Play Rough Hydro Pump and Play Rough Ice Beam, there's not really a lot of difference. And the small difference you see in matchups, it's very small. So against the AZUMARILL, so here's the most important thing. In the 1 shield, you dominate AZUMARILL because you're able to bait with Ice Beam. This is where it's really important. In the Azu mirrors, you want Ice Beam Play Rough. Because with Ice Beam, but there's justification for player Hydro Pump as well. Yes, you lose against Azu, but you'll simultaneously knock each other out. Basically, like what I said before, as long as you got a little damage on their Azu, you're good. You're Gucci. You don't have to worry about it. With the Hydro Pump variation, you do beat a lot of matchups. So you beat Dripplin with Hydro Pump, just because you Hail Mary Hydro Pump it at the end. And you also, other than that, everything's pretty much the same. Like I said, with the Ice Beam player variation, with the Ice Beam player variation in the 1 shield, this matchup is actually really close. If you look at the end, you're left with 2 HP. So like I said, as long as you do a little bit of damage, you actually still win some of these matchups. So if you look, no, here you go. Watch. Okay, so we do this. Here, let me show you. So if we do the advanced options, say the starting HP, say you hit it with like, I don't know, you hit it with like a rock. You hit it with a rock, and now it's off the 140 HP. So you hit it with like a 3 damage move. AZUMARILL will win. Straight Play Rough. See? So like I said, the matchup isn't the matchup's like really close. So there's still like whether or not you want to run Play Rough Hydro Pump or Play Rough Ice Beam. It's up to you. You're good. And that's the 1 shield. As you see, you beat pretty much everything that you need to beat with the same thing. The most important one is that you win the mirror. And in the no shield, it's where it gets interesting because Hydro Pump really does beat a lot of things. I'll show you real quick. Hydro Pump flips a lot of matchups. In the 0 shield, you do beat Azu. So this is the only variation. Play Rough and Ice Beam is the only variation that beats AZUMARILL on the mirror. Because you just go straight Play Rough. So this is it right here. So you beat the Play Rough. The Hydro Pump version is beat by the Azu with Ice Beam Play Rough. Why? Let's take a look right here. Because you might find that strange. You're like, wait, if you have the same energy, like, what goes on? It's because you can Ice Beam it at the end. That's exactly why. So at the end, you can Ice Beam, and then you actually finish it off because you have residual energy to finish it off with Ice Beam. So That's basically why. It's because Ice Beam. This is why another reason why, like, the main reason you want Ice Beam is to be able to beat the mirror. And Ice Beam still beats a lot of things. Like, Ice Beam Player will still beat a lot of things. With a few exceptions. For example, as you see here, the Ice Beam, the Player of Hydro Pump variant, you can finish off a lot of things with Hydro Pump. Literally, Hydro Pump is what ends a lot of Pokemon's lives, as you see here. So since Hydro Pump isn't resisted by a lot of Steel types, you do win with Hydro Pump. So, like I said, Hydro Pump still is very viable. It still has a lot of play. So, depending on how you build your team, either of these two variations, but Play Rough Azu is really, really strong. Like I said, Hydro Pump flips some variations, so Hydro Pump will flip matchups. But at the same time, Ice Beam and Play Rough, if you play it well, you will still win a lot of relevant matchups. And that's pretty much it for Azu. Like I said, I'm trying to tell you, like, Azu, you don't need Ice Beam. You can play Play Rough Hydro or Ice Beam Play Rough, and you will do beautifully. To show you real quick, what we're going to do is Training Sim real quick. Alright, so here's the Training Sim. I put it together. Here's the Halloween Cup. I have Ice Beam Play Rough Azu, Alolan with Dark Pulse Sludge Wave, and Hydreigon. If you watched my previous video on the Halloween Cup, I used this before. But here's where we're going to show you how Azu is champion. So we get a Golbat versus Hydreigon. This is great. We got Shadow Ball and Poison Fang here. I don't need to worry about shielding anything really. Because Poison Fang doesn't do a lot of damage and Shadow Ball doesn't do anything either. Well, it doesn't do a lot. Shadow Ball is resisted by the Dark Technique. It's probably going to be Poison Fang. I'll eat it. That's fine. Doesn't do a lot. I get to Dark Pulse. And now I will shield the next one though. So we'll get a shield here. I will shield just because I want to keep switch. You do win this matchup pretty handily. Like I said, as long as you shield the poison, as long as you shield. Actually, you need a double shield, but this is fine. We got Golbat. We're still good, cheap. We're still good. So I want to do as much damage as I possibly can, and then we're just gonna let Hydreigon go. Because we're gonna send Alolan Muck to farm down. Because Shadow Ball and Poison Fang, we resist everything you have to offer as Golbat. So Muck walls, Muck and Skuntank will wall because of their poison. And watch, this is gonna do some damage, not a lot, but we get to farm down. The farm is much more important. We're gonna probably see an Azu. Yep, there's the Azu, and we're just gonna go straight Sludge Wave. Our opponent shields, it's gonna be great. If they don't shield, that's even better. And our opponent does shield. That's perfectly fine though, because we have shield advantage. So all we're going to do is go straight Sludge Wave. I should have baited with Dark Pulse, it's fine. Your opponent might sense that they need to use it, so then we're going to Sludge Wave Fear, and then we'll switch. So this does heavy damage. Sludge Wave, I love Alolan Muck, just look how much damage that does. That's amazing. We switch in, and we get an Umbreon in the back. This is game mode. This is GG's. We have such a hard matchup that this is great. As you see, Play Rough Ice Beam Azu is a thing. You didn't really need Ice Beam in this scenario, but the Ice Beam would have actually KO'd that Golbat, and Ice Beam would have baited the AZUMARILL shield. So Ice Beam has play here. We can go straight foul play, but we could go just like straight Play Rough. But here's what I want to do. I'm going to actually farm up to 2 Ice Beams. So you have shield advantage here. The Azu has energy. You have this match in the bag as long as you play it right. Because there's no reason. You're not going to, like, here's why Azu's so powerful. Like, in Great League, you see it's so powerful. Well, guess what? It's like your tank. It's a giant tank. It's like one of the most impressive tanks in the world. And I can even do something extremely fancy just so that you can, yeah. Actually, I could be really fancy. So we'll do this. Alright, that's as much energy as we can get. I'm going to undercharge. And see if we can just, like, we can get a little more energy off that undercharge. We can. Bam. Perfect undercharge. We're not going to shield anything. This is fine. We just literally have to Play Rough. And that's GG's. Foul play does not kill here. We resist it. And even if we don't kill it with this Play Rough, we would still have enough. We could still get enough energy to get a second one. So as you see here, Play Rough Azu is champion. Play Rough is amazing. And specifically for the mirror, it's really great, and it's really good. Ice Beam, like I said, would have taken out Golbat, but Play Rough also gives you that strong typing against Umbreon. And a few tips. So here's a few tips if you run Play Rough, just really quick. So with Play Rough Azu, you take out Play Rough. you actually delete Scrafty. So anything double weak, which is Scrafty and Zweilous and Hydreigon, you yeet it to oblivion. You will literally one-shot it with Play Rough. Scrafty doesn't live to tell the tale, neither will Zweilous. And if Zweilous is, what makes you think that Hydreigon's gonna live either? Actually, Hydreigon's braiding's probably yours. You know, just they'll check. As you see, it's absolute freaking overkill. That's why Play Rough is so good. It's so good. And if you use it against Toxic, it even gives you some interesting matchups against Toxic. So say you go against Toxicroak, Play Rough gives you that W because you can survive this. Oh wait, hold on, not Play Rough. Ice Beam, Play Rough. Bam. See, with Play Rough, you actually take out Toxicroak in the zeros just because Play Rough does that. If you go straight Ice Beam, you lose. See what I mean? So as long as you have Hydro Pump or as long as you have Play Rough, you're good. Bam. Anyways, that's my summary. Like I said, Play Rough Azumarill is really, really powerful. I definitely recommend you have it. It beats the mirror. It's very good with team comps, and it allows you to have... Fairy in general is a very strong typing against fighting, dark, and it's very... And like I said, against neutral matchups like with Toxicroak, you'll like one-shot everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, put in the comments. And you guys have a great day. I'll be doing more analysis on the Halloween Cup later. And like I said, you have a good one. Make sure you drink water, okay?